Vice Captain of YGG Lead, and today me and Disi will be talking about Season 3, everything to know about Season 3, like it's live, the live version of it, right? Last week we were talking about like the expected changes, and now that the patch is already live, we are going to be just rounding up what we were talking about last week, and also like the last minute changes that they made to the Season 3. So it's just basically an updated version of what we were talking about last week, because there were some minor changes, as well as talking about the runes and charms that we have not gone through those. So yeah, that's our agenda for today. Anything more you want to add, DC?
No, that should be fine. Let's head over to the changes.
Okay, so we are currently 5 days into the season, and I think the changes have been good in a way. I mean, we can just start off by talking about like our own experiences in the season, and so I think the patch right now in the rare era seems very balanced. Like there isn't something that is super overpowered, right? A lot of things does have like very equal footing in terms of having a chance to win stuff, so that's pretty good, right? So like rare era is pretty balanced in my opinion, which means it's also very hard to climb, right? Especially if you're stuck in like certain MMR, or like you're stuck in lower. I think right now I'm stuck around like the rank 200. It's very tough to push up because there's every single comp that is meta now, and it's very hard to climb because it's like there's always something that you will lose to, and then it'll just like hinder your climb. So that's my experience.
I think it's more of what we said last week, in terms of like for people trying to climb the ladder, you have to figure out like which meta is in your current like MMR bracket, for you to take advantage of that and be able to surpass that like bracket range. So what like Gabby is saying, with the season or the era being more balanced compared to before, there's really not a single comp right now that just dominates everything. There would be comps that would like counter a certain comp, so that's how I guess we could say that it's also like kind of balanced. So we don't know if that's the same story for the other eras, but to our own experience for this era, it's something like that.
Even like at the top, I think even like Kosai, I think right now in YGG, the two highest ranks are Kosai and +1, right? Not +1, and even they have trouble. Like there are comps that they are like afraid to face against as well. But their win rate against everything else is like pretty good. So like I would say the comps that they are playing are pretty on point as well. I think Stats is also doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's more of like the comps that you might play, as long as the comp that you're using is like optimized in terms of the Axies, in terms of the runes and charms. Your win rate might be above like 50%, and that should help you climb already. But then again, if there's a day that you face like your counters or like something like mirrors, that would slow you down or make you fall a bit. So that is the challenge that we also like experienced before in V2. So somehow it's heading towards that scenario again, which is like very good, because that's what makes ladder harder, I would say. Not unlike the previous seasons where honestly you can just like quote unquote pay to win it. if that's not the story in the current era, in the next ones, that's definitely the one that we're looking for as like players and even like just like the casuals.
Yeah. Okay, I think we can start looking at the changes, right?
The live.
So welcome to season 3, yada yada yada. So like we talked about it already, we can just touch a bit. This season is broken down into 3 different eras: rare era, epic era, and mystic era. We are currently in the rare era, right? And this is the AXS distribution. I think this is something that only came out. This is new information. Is that only the
top 20,
the top 200,000 only gets AXS as compared to the top 40,000. Yeah, 20k players instead of 40k, right? I think this is new information to us, which is, I would say, good in general, because there wasn't really 40,000 people playing, I think. So like anybody could have gotten that free AXS and it didn't make sense, because this is supposed to be somewhat like competitive, right? So like concentrating it down to 20k makes more sense, and it just makes it a little bit more prestigious, I say. Like getting EXS, not as easy. And like but they didn't touch the top players, right? They didn't touch I would say the top 5. I would say top 100 didn't change. It's very similar to what it was last season. In terms of like what we earned as top 100 players, it's very similar. I think they bumped up around I'm not really sure like the changes, but I think the midfield got a little bit more AXS to be won. So I think somewhere between like 1,000 to 500 is where it really increased. But I would have to put it side by side to kind of like look through, but I can't really find like previous seasons distribution. So I'm just assuming that like midfield is better, right? So that's good.
But in the sense that they are only giving it for like the top 20k, I think the good part about it is that like it really gives the AXS to those people who are actually playing, because the daily active users or the DAO isn't that high compared to before. So let's say people would just like play something and still get like rewards in the top like 20 to like 40k before. I think it would be more fair now, so that those people who actually, even just the casuals playing every day and can still reach like 10 to 20k, even 0.2 I guess isn't that big. It's still something, you know, not unlike when you just play a single game before and you immediately reach like top 40k, you already get the prize. It's kind of weird. So in this sense, it's like better.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I mean, moving on, right? Like AXS, that's good. I think that's a very good change. But another change that I think was very big, that I think they don't have a section of, is
The stamina.
players now earn double. I think they have it here. I'm not
It
too
should
sure.
be there.
We'll skip all of this. We'll come back to these later. I think something that is here, right?
Yeah, that's this guy.
Yeah, I think this is the one that's like pretty big, this change.
Yeah.
The energy system rework, as well as match reward system rework, right? So basically this just means instead of a maximum of 60 energy, now we have a maximum of 30 energy, right? And it's very similar to like how you get the full energy is by having 10 axes. No. The new formula for calculating stamina is total stamina equals to 10 plus number of personal axes. Okay. 10 plus number of personal. So it means you need 20 axes to get the full.
Which is the same with. The thing that is same is like the idea that you still need like 20 as to before. I'm just not sure if the ratio is the same if you only have like 10 axes. I'm assuming it's almost the same.
But yeah, so that's cool. So basically, we have less energy to spend, and then each win gets you more moonshots and SLP, right? Compared to like what it was. So they did this because, well, there was a lot of like people complaining like last season that like 60 energy is a little bit too much. You know, some people who have like jobs outside of like playing Axie, right? They don't have much time to finish 60 energy. So one way they were requesting it to change the whole energy system, and they did, which I think is pretty good. And even off energy now, you can even earn moonshots, which is also very good. As for people like us, right, who play like way more than 30 energy, right? I think like today already I've played like almost 100 games. Yeah, I don't have a life, but yeah. So like even playing off energy, I'm still earning moonshots, which is good, right? It's good because like it incentivizes people to play off energy, and that's something I think is kind of nice, right? I mean, we were all, there was only a few like animals who are playing off energy, and like those animals are now incentivized to keep going, so that's good.
The good thing about this as well is that for like, because there could be a strategy with this, you know? Like for people like playing, especially in the earlier part of the eras, these people might want to just grind so fast and even grind off energy to get the moon shards to be able to craft more. The strat might change to like, would you actually play a faster paced comp, or just stick with a mid tier comp that doesn't like, you know, finish your 30 stamina that fast. So this one is not just like how do I say it? Like playing just to finish energy, because there could be a strat for you to actually grind just the shards. So it's another thing that could be considered by other people, and it's very good for those people who really doesn't have time, especially like the casuals that maybe you spent like something to just get like 20 hakis, but you realize you can't finish your stamina. So it's kind of like, I don't know, like maybe people would feel bad because of that. Like for me, sometimes even if I don't finish my energy with just like 5 energy left, I still feel like kind of bad for it, because I should be getting something out of that. But since they just move it to like half, it's really more convenient, I would say, right now, because you have the option to grind if you really want it. So I think no one took this like badly, at least in my circle, right?
Yeah,
Because it's
I
really
mean,
good.
generally, as long as nobody is really making noise on Twitter, it's good. Like people take this as very good news. So like the consensus is more or less very happy with this new change, right? But in my opinion, though, I don't think this really makes much of a difference, because on average, it still takes you around like 4 hours to finish 30 energy, and I don't think that like it's better than like what it was last season, right? Don't get me wrong, but 4 hours is still very long. But I don't know. I mean, end of the day, it's not really about like energy, right? Me, like if you don't have time to play, or like you only have time to play in 2 hours, just don't feel your energy,
Like
right?
especially like, let's say you're actually doing like a normal day job, right? Like
Yeah.
9 to 5, and then you just wanna like play a bit like before you head to bed, like play for like 2 hours. That's still good. Like if you can play like 10 to 20 like energy, that's still good, because at the end of the day, it's not just like catering competitive players. You should also like consider the whole like community being able to utilize whatever they have with their time.
So the next thing that we can talk about is also this extended elo and updated challenger decay, right? So extended elo. I haven't we don't really know like how this plays out yet, but in general, I think it just it do you have an idea about how this works?
All right, let me explain what Hale recent out for this. So last season, the real challenge last season is going to challenger. The reason behind the difficulty in going to challenger is that whenever you are dragon 1 or like even like dragon 2 before, you can still meet challengers. That means those challengers are like higher tier players. But when you win against those challengers, you only get one booger. So if you lose like as a challenger, you lose a lot. But if you win as a dragon player, you only gain one booger. But you are facing a more difficult opponent. So it's not easier for you to reach challenger at that state because it's definitely a higher tier player. That's why what they are saying is that when you go out of like challenger, it's harder for you to get back again because of that like challenge of being in the challenger. And that is the reason why it's like better for people to camp in the last season because there's not much challengers. So this extended elo thing is like its goal is try to put a lot of people in challengers so that it's not hard for people to get points as well when people reach challenges. So that's the idea with this extended elo thing.
So instead of just winning the 1 star, right, which is 10 MMR, right? One booger means 10 MMR. So instead of winning 10 now, if you beat a challenger and you're like dragon, you win the full 16 or even the 18, right? There isn't that MMR disparity, right? There is you get that extra 6. So it's not just static at 10. So I like this change.
Yeah. And like to add to that, it's also written there that MMR reduction, there's MMR reduction on a loss, like if you're a dragon to challenger. So that means it also helps you not fall a lot. So it's really like their goal for a lot of people to be in challenger this season.
Yeah. Even the MMR just didn't push up a lot actually compared to like a lot of other seasons. I think the season 1, if I'm not wrong, then everyone ended around 2.4, high 2.4. I think last season it was like 2.1, 2.2, so it was like 200 MMR below.
Because camping is more prevalent last season, and the eras are like kind of fast as well. If you come to think about it, the era 1 and era 3, and era 1 and especially era 3. Era 3 is like the camping era.
Yeah. So another way for them to combat camping is challenger decay, right? I don't know if this was announced in the last podcast that we did, but I'm just gonna like reiterate this.
Yeah, and this one is like very like controversial, I would say, in Twitter with like the other people.
Yeah. So basically, what this change is, instead of playing 1 game a day to avoid MMR decay, you need to play as a challenger. You need to play 5 games right now, right? You need to win, lose, or draw 5 games basically. And it was controversial because of the fact that some people think 5 games a day is a lot. Apparently, I don't know why they think 5 games a day is a lot of time. I mean, it does make sense, right? The arguments was like, what if somebody has lost internet connection? What if somebody has bad internet for that day itself? What if somebody is sick, and can't play on that day, right? So that was the argument, and I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, they made this change, I think, because like there was a huge camping problem.
Yeah.
And it's not good because there's also a lot of money on the line, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's just their first issue was just to solve the camping issue, right? And a lot of the people that were complaining, they were suggesting doing what was it called? What was the word? Banking, is it?
Yeah, it's MMR banking.
MMR banking.
MMR banking is like you wouldn't really get a decay if like let's say they enabled MMR banking. MMR banking can be like 2 or 3 days, meaning the decay would work in 2 days time or like in 3 days time. Basically, if you're required to play like 5 games in MMR banking, like in 5 games per day, right? If they go for like MMR banking, you could go for like 2 days requiring 10 games in the span of 2 days, or like 3 days with like 15 games requirement, something like that. Because I think the MMR banking thing is being used with like other games. I'm not sure if it's TCG or something like that, like another card game.
League also uses that.
Oh, League.
Technically, Dota also, right? You don't play, you lose your rank. Technically,
I don't
ranking
remember
as well.
anymore. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. But one, I don't remember anymore who was that was saying in Twitter that the thing is, if people think that 5 games is too much like for a day, and this is like only for challengers, by the way. So one other guy was saying that if you're really like competing for like a big amount of like money, and you can't even like play 5 games a day, I think it should be like your responsibility to do that. Like as what Gabby say a while ago, it's like it is what it is. But there's really like a huge amount of like money in the line, and if you can play like 5 games in that day, I think that's really just like unfortunate on your end, in my opinion, because like there are really like, how do I say it, like uncontrolled like scenarios in your life that might just happen, and maybe the MMR banking might solve that, but MMR banking in its own can also cause problems in camping if people hasn't realized it yet, because camping is more prevalent in the last like 1, 2, 3 days of the season. And let's say like you got like MMR banking for like 3 days, like people would definitely try to like just do it in the last 3 days and aim for a certain MMR and just like stop there. So camping would still be there if that happens, and it defeats the purpose of the challenger decay. So I'm not sure if MMR banking would be a thing. Maybe it could work for like 2 days, but in my opinion, it's good that they didn't implement it yet this season, so that we can still see what's the effect of the challenger decay on its own without the MMR banking.
Also, another reason why I don't like the whole banking thing and you force people to play is we already know that meta changes from day, like at the final few days, right? Even like in the rare era, right? The meta changes daily, right? Like even today, like I'm playing AoE, right? AoE was doing super well like yesterday, and today it's like falling off very hard. So that's even worse in the final few days of a season, right? The MMR legitimately changes daily. Not the meta legitimately changes daily, and if you do something like camping, right, like banking, you basically win the top 10 spot without having a top 10 comp, in my opinion, right? And it also makes it very easy for people with the meta comps to climb, right? For example, we take like Steven, right? 1437. He had the best comp, and he climbed very easily because a lot of people were camping, right? There wasn't really much people challenging him for the number one spot. So it was kind of like easy, I would say, for him to get rank 1 because first he had the meta comp on the final day. He had the meta comp. He figured out the meta, and then there was nobody else playing, right? Because everybody was camping. So it was very easy for him to like get there. Okay, it wasn't easy, don't get me wrong.
It wasn't easy, but it's definitely not as hard as like it would be if you're also playing against other meta comps. I think that's what like Gabby is saying.
In a way, but it's more of like the only person you are fighting against is yourself, right? The only one, you're not fighting against other people who are trying to gun for it. You're fighting against people who are like much lower MMR than you. So it means who are like literally not as skilled as you in a way. Because everybody who's in your same skill cap in the top 10 are just not playing. So it's a lot of those kind of things, right? It's like undeserving people because, like, for example, like one person I can say is like Stats, right? His comp towards the end was technically not the most updated comp, but he was in the top 10 because he pushed way early and then like started playing one game a day. Not saying that like he doesn't know how to build comps, but that's just like his strategy, right? Like he got there, and then if let's say he played on the last day, I wouldn't think he'd be able to maintain getting rank 6. I think he would need to update his comp. He couldn't have done it without updating his comp. So this change is good. I like it.
Yeah, that's actually a good point by Gabby. Like, if we think about like the end of season in this like scenario, like what Gabby is saying is that those people who would probably be in the top 10 would actually be the people who really like, we could say like really deserve it, because they would actually be playing like 5 games in that day with a comp that should be good, unless like they're really just lucky with the matchups. Like they time it perfectly, they know that the one that they're countering is like playing as well, because that could be a factor as well. But to what Gabby is saying is that those people in the top 10, because all of them would play like 5 games in that day, they really deserve it to be there, because their comps are also like good and they also played well, unlike those times where people just like camp and they know that. Because we also like consider, right, even for like rare right now, rare era, and maybe in even like epic era, where if there's not much like challengers yet, that your comp might fall up at some point, especially in a rare era. And if you were like, because I was like talking with Staz as well, right? Like Staz like strategy to share to you guys is that he always tried to climb like so fast, like early, like reach like top 20, something like that, and just to utilize his early advantage, because he knows like most of the time in like the last few days of the era, most of the comps in the top 50 would be optimized already. So it can still happen right now, like in rare era, but the scenario that Gabby is saying might be felt in epic and mystic era. So that is really good for the game, in my opinion. Before we move on, because I saw like Shanks asking something, because he's planning to play again for season 3. He's asking what's the best comp that could be played for all eras. To be honest, like it's hard for us to like say that, because there's a lot of like changes into the game right now. But whenever you're thinking about like which comp might be played in all of those eras, you have to consider like, do you actually like want to stick with like one comp? Because if you want to stick with the one comp, in order for you to figure out if this comp might be good in all those eras, there should be a corresponding rune or like charms that could still be utilized with 3 axes whenever you switch to like different eras. And in my opinion, since AoE is still being played well right now, maybe, just a maybe, that could be an option for people to do if they just want to try competing in every era.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion.
The issue with that is like when you say AoE in general, but you can't buy just one AoE that does well in all eras, because every single era, right? Like the concept AoE stays the same, but the body type differs, like changes,
Yeah.
right? Because of certain runes and charms. So if let's say you want to learn an archetype, you can learn AoE and it'll do very well, but you're gonna have to have multiple different axes and multiple different body
Yeah.
types, right? Because you need to fit the certain runes and charms.
Yeah.
But the playstyle is very similar throughout the eras, right? The only thing that you need to change is basically the axes, right? But in terms of like learning how to play the comp efficiently and playstyle, AoE generally ages very, very well. There is no other comp that I think can be played in all eras, right? Like even you take like sustains. I don't think sustains is playable in epic because of leech, right? That's gonna be a huge problem. So yeah. So if you want to think about like a comp to play, it's most probably gonna be AoE. Yeah.
Yeah. And it should be your like your plan to which runes and charms you're gonna play. Like for example, if let's say you're picking like 3 or 4 AoE axes, right? And you're picking like maybe one bug, one beast, or like one dust. Because you can always like consider like the transformation of your runes. Like from a beast, you play like Way of Beast, and then maybe you switch to Reckless Hunter, and then the Endless Anger. And for a bug, you go for Vault Builder, Shield Leecher, Collect and Protect. And for a dust, it's really just like figuring out if there's a next rune that could be played on the next era, something like that. And it could be like different because let's say you want to try playing a bird, but maybe a bird in the Mystic era isn't that good anymore. And maybe you play a Dawn, and then maybe it's good or bad in the Mystic era depending on the meta. So it really depends on how you want to risk it as well if you don't want to spend much on axes. And I'm not sure if you can also get all those runes that you want freely, or you might have to spend as well. So
I mean,
but yeah.
Rare runes are like pretty cheap, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, to go back to answer the question, TLDR, no, there isn't really a comp that does well for all eras. It's really impossible.
Yeah.
Just because of like how the rune structure and like the charms are, like you cannot.
And it's harder to predict now because we don't know what's gonna be the broken comp yet. Like for last season, it's only when the curses came out. So last season, that is the quote unquote broken comp, because like me and Gabby were just like talking about it like last night. I think there's really one person who dominated like the ladder and the tournaments. We're just like playing one comp, like a broken comp, and it's for people to figure that out every season. So if you're that person for that season, just try to utilize that opportunity, you know. So it's also like a challenge. We're not saying that that person is not that good, but if you're that person who can utilize it and quote unquote maybe abuse it, and you're gonna be on a good spot for that season.
Yeah. Okay, I think we can start looking at like runes and charms, I guess, and just seeing like some of the changes. We already talked about cards, but we can also talk about like actual experience against the cards, right? I think the most annoying one, honestly, is for plant cards. I think is really the Rosa watermelon potato leaf. It's rare, like it's not a lot of people are utilizing that tech yet, but kinda annoying, especially as an AoE player.
I think the reason why it's not being utilized yet is because of the runes.
Yeah.
it's the limiting factor for that build right now. So
Mhm.
it's still interesting if it still like comes out, in
Yeah.
maybe in Epic era. It's
Uh,
definitely annoying. There's
I
not
think
much like changes, I think, in the cards compared to what we talked about last week.
not much changes, but I think we can also just like give input of like how I experience also, right? Like, I think over the reason like why it's not gaining popularity also is because of the meta, right? Sustains and poisons don't really get affected by sleep. Like yes, you sleep me, but I can just play something to wear off the sleep and apply poisons. I can play something to wake myself up and put my shield, right? So that's kind of the two things that I think is limiting this comp as well. Yeah. But the when we look at like plants runes, right? It's tough to talk about things that I have issues talking about things that I don't experience, so I can't really talk about things like leaf cloak,
Yeah,
rise and ruin Gaia's, and healing pulse because I'm the kind of person that like learn through playing and learn through experience.
and
So
like sometimes theoretically looks damn
yeah.
good. Like I remember, I'm not sure if that's last season when we were saying that. Oh my god! Like I think the
Leaf cloak.
leaf is, yeah, it's so
Yeah.
damn good, but it didn't really like work out.
Fucking
So
tragic. It was
theoretically
tragic.
it's just good, but it's still hard to like utilize because, as we said, there would still be the broken comps, and if that's not part of the triangle, then it's not gonna be there.
Mhm. So the reason why Sustains is doing very well in this era is because of Way of Plant, right? Way of Plant increases the Axie's HP by 8%, and this is very big because of Blood Moon's thresholds, right? You just need to be a 441 HP for you to survive the 90 damage Blood Moon. And if you have a rune that naturally increases your HP, it's very good because you don't need to be spending a lot on vitality charms, right? Now, you don't need to spend on charms that gives you HP. You can go for things that gives you like more shield and stuff like that to help you survive. So generally, this is like why Way of Plan is very good. And like the more XC you have above 441, generally is also very good because it's harder to kill 3 XCs above 441 compared to killing like 1 XC above 441. So yeah, that's kind of the reason like why plants are doing sustains are doing like relatively well right now. It's because of that rune. Like if you go and see the leaderboard, right? Most of the sustained players are running two, or like the successful ones are running like two plants. So yeah.
And to add to that, that's why I think the rare era is very interesting, is because of all the way of cards. Like
Yeah.
the way of all the classes is really one very good way to play rare era, because it's really good. Like I think most of them, if not all, are actually good for you to like play the rare, and that's really really good for the game because it's not very limiting for people to play the era. It's really just figuring out which works with each other, something like that, for rare era at least.
When you look at beasts, I think one card that I think is looked underwhelming at first, but like when in actuality it's like a fucking monster is the Goda, right?
Yeah.
Goda is
Damn
insane. Damn good. Like
Yeah.
even having just one Goda in your team, like applies so much pressure to your opponent as well. Like the one Goda really applies so much pressure against like the triple Kataro AoE teams, right? Like it just it really messes up with their combos and stuff. So like
Yeah.
and also putting in that curse card into your deck will, like, you wouldn't think one or two curse cards or one or two voids matter, but they can break your hand enough that you don't get good cards. So Goda
Goda-
turned out to
But
be a
it's really
very
one
good.
of the best cards right now. I'm not sure if we said it like last week, but alright, can you hover back to the Goda? Like the reason why Goda is like so much value again, if I missed it like last week, is because for one energy, you give like 60 damage, and then the remove one energy fragment is an immediate effect as well. And then putting one void to your opponent's deck is like two effects, because you put one curse card and then you remove like an energy fragment again upon draw. So like I consider this card like a 4 value card just by using it. So like for those of you who has this like card, it's really very good even if you're not playing a beast, because I think I played against a sustain with it, and apparently it's still good even on that comp. So I think it's one of the best cards right now in the meta.
When we look at runes and charms, Dominant Predator is like insane also right now. The bleed, I think okay, Dominant Predator is insane because of Grievous Wound, right? It's insane, right? Like how Grievous Wound is, because if let's say you play Dominant Predator with Dual Blade, you're essentially putting two debuffs, right? And if you let's say you can somehow get one more debuff on your opponent, it's very hard to cleanse. Very hard to cleanse that thing away, right? With things like White Sage, because generally you only have one, and it's like you can only remove one other like debuff, and you can't remove everything. So this Dominant Predator is quite insane in my opinion. Like on top of like bleeding your opponent, you're healing yourself.
Yeah.
So right now, one of the more popular comps, or one of the meta comps right now, is this thing called the Monkey comp. Right, we call it Monkey comp because it's quite brain dead, but I don't think it's brain dead, right? So the idea
It's
is
just easy to play.
Yeah,
That's
it's
why
just
it's
easy to
monkey
play.
comp.
So the idea is playing the Tiny Dino Beast at the back with Axie Mouth and Belieber Ronin Branch with Dominant Predator, and you play like an Innocent Lamb Goda Cottontail Beast with Dual Blade on the middle, right? So and generally the front can be anything from Vault Builder, even can be a Steel Skin, even can be like Way of Aqua, right? Some people are finding a lot of success with Aquas at the front, just playing like Aquas at the front with the two beasts. Generally the two beasts just carries super hard. That like, yeah.
Oh
It
yeah,
carries
and to answer to MJ Wade's question a while ago, you can actually grind one day to reach like top 500. The newest member of YGG Elite, I'm not sure if you guys saw it, Spam and Rice, actually just played today with this quote unquote monkey comp with double Dominant Predator, and I think it's already at top 200 or like top 300 a while ago in just like 30 energies, I think. So
Yeah.
it's definitely doable as long as you know which comp to play. And it's not hard to build, I guess, because those axes are just around. So
Yeah.
you're just gonna slow down at some point, maybe in the top 200 or top 300. But
Yeah.
it's definitely doable.
Climbing to like top 500, I would say it's pretty I mean, okay, it's pretty easy for us, right? But I would think a lot of people can do it as long as you have the right comp, and then you understand the comp very well. Yeah. Sheesh, Spammer is 100% win rate. I don't think it's 100%, but like it's pretty
He
high.
kind of slowed down. He slowed down already.
He's slowing down already, yeah. He's slowing down. Once you reach like Bear 1 right now, which is around top 200, it's when it becomes tough. Like that's where it becomes very balanced, right? Like there's no comp that can like do very, 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 very well. So yeah. Not much we can say about aquas though in this era. There really isn't a lot of aquas. There's not many people playing aquas in this era, so not much to be talked about for
But
aqua.
people are still trying to utilize the, like as I said, the way of something is really good. Like it is always like a good rune to put in any Axie, really any Axie, and in any comp. I think some people are trying to utilize the blunt teeth, but I'm not sure if that's really good. But for the aquas, it's really way of aqua right now. There's really no downside with it.
Yeah. But aquas do come alive in epics, right? Because of calcium armor.
Yeah.
Even the new change to Hati Warrior, right? This Axie deals 25% bonus damage if its target's HP is more than 50%. Otherwise, it deals 15% bonus damage. Like this change to Hati Warrior is quite big, right? So aquas will come alive in epics and especially mystics, right? Because they brought back Bloodlust. So I think Bloodlust is something that like is gonna be very interesting in the mystic, right? Because I can imagine this being on like an AoE or like multi-hit comp, and it just heals you back to like full HP, for example. So I don't know like how good it's gonna be, because if let's say like you play like Little Owl on it, right, and then you do like 5 hits, you steal 15, so that's gonna be like what? 15 times 2 is 30, like 75.
Because whenever you steal HP, correct me if I'm wrong, is you also deal that damage, right?
Yeah. It's basically pure.
Yeah, that's why Piranha is like so strong. Like I'm not sure if people realize it. Piranha, I was about to like in my own self, I ranted on my own. Like it's really like annoying because you deal like normally I think 60 damage, and then if it's like unblocked, you deal an extra 30 if I'm not mistaken, like a total of like 120 like effective value if I'm not mistaken. Am I right? Or you just deal like 90 like effective value?
It's around 90. It's
because
insane.
like you steal like 50% of it, which is really big in my opinion, and it's so much like plus like upside on your end. Especially if you're just facing no shield opponents. That's why Cuckoo with Piranha is like damn good.
Yeah. We can move on to Reptile, right? So one thing that like is a big change is like we were talking about Swirl, right? We talked about this already. Swirl changed, now it just shuffles one confused. It's like not very playable already in my opinion. I think it's still pretty decent in epic eras, but I don't think it's like super good. But the thing that is like got like the comp that's now very good is Topaz, right? A lot of people
it's really a buff.
Like a lot of people are playing like the full banish Topaz comp right now. Not a lot of people, right? The people who have it. So like Shu and Wargos, they're playing the Topaz comp. Is doing very well because they essentially hit like what 120 damage for one energy, which is kind of insane. But it's very hard to get that comp.
Yeah, if people missed it, they actually buffed Topaz such that they increase the base damage, and I think it's even the bonus damage per banish card is better now. I'm not sure if it's 10 before compared to 15 now, and then the Topaz base damage before was I think 25. So it's really buffed in it's like different, even just like the base and the bonus damage. I mean, so and the funny thing is it's even utilized in rare era. So like, damn pretty. So like to share to you guys, one of the easiest ways for you to utilize Topaz is you use Innocent Lamb, you use Nemo, and you actually use Antenna as well. So basically with Inolam, you can copy either Antenna or Nemo, but the easier one to understand is copying Nemo. So basically, if I'm not mistaken, if you have Innocent Lamb and Nemo, you immediately banish 3 cards. Right, Gabby? Because you banish Innocent Land, you banish Nemo, and then you copy Nemo, and then you banish that again. And if you have like 3 Axies with that, you banish 9, and your Topaz damage just goes to the 100 plus already. That's why it's so strong.
Yeah, that combo is like very
So
strong.
that is the gist of the Topaz build, the banished Topaz build right now. And it's in the top 10, so it's really good.
Okay, so when we look at Reptile runes, I think the biggest change, in my opinion, is Poison Touch for this era. Not really sure like how the others will do. Yeah, but I can only talk about Poison Touch. Very strong, right? Especially with like AoEs, right? Poisons are having a very good time. So yeah, Poison Touch very good in this epic era. Even like Poisons are just having a very good time right now. Because they even beat things like Silence Whisper. Because as long as you have like an Orenda or like a Kestrel in your comp, you generally just beat most sustains as well. Because like you can cleanse away their Silence Whisper, which is quite big.
Yeah, because Silence
then
Whisper is just 3 turns now, right? So it's easier to dispel it compared to before.
Yep. And you also generally naturally beat AoE because of just how the comp works, right? Whenever they play an AoE, they will hit into your Poison Touch and they just get 1 poison and stuff like that. So poisons are just very good, but poisons will generally lose to the double bloodlust, right? Because anything that has heals will like not do very well against the double bloodlust comps. So if those come out to be more popular, then I think maybe poisons might struggle. But I think right now poisons are in a very good spot because a lot of people are playing AoEs. So yeah.
But I think the because if you guys are thinking about like playing poisons, this is just my own opinion. It might not transition well to epic and mystic. We just by looking at the runes and charms. That's why like as I said a while ago, if you're trying to build a comp, you have to consider if they can still be played with a certain rune and charm for the next eras. And poisons in general is like very like card specific. So it's different with AoEs in that sense.
Yeah. So like you have to think about like power spikes also. I don't think poison really gets a huge power spike when they go epic, right? Because when they go epic, what are you gonna do? You're still gonna opt to play Poison Touch. I think. Like I don't see anything that is like so good to be played. Maybe things like Shell Shock and like Prehistoric Armor, I guess. You can try it. But Poison Touch is still like very strong, even like it's still like one of the better options for poisons when they go, right? To the epic era. I mean, you can consider things like Calcium Armor, you can consider things like Healing Force, which will like make your life against things like AoEs a little bit better. But there's gonna be other comps that might make you struggle, right? Rage comes out, right? Those confident rage, single target rage comes out because things like the degrade, this one, right? The Beast Energy Drink S comes out, Master of Frenzy comes out, so that might see some form of playability in epic era. Single target rage might come out. Looking at how single target beast comps are doing very well against AoE, I think single target rage might have a leg to stand against AoE in the epic era, but we'll have to see. But like if with these runes and charms coming out, it's gonna be very tough for poisons to be like fighting in the epic era, just because of like not a very convincing power spec in terms of like the runes option that you have. So, but your one saving grace, I think, if you're playing poisons when you go epic era, is that your worst matchup, which is sustains, right? You are going to. I don't think there will be many sustains in like shield comms, like shielding comms with Silence Whisper in the meta for Epic, because there is the leech, the leech rune. So that's gonna be a problem for sustains, right? In the Epic era, because leech was buffed from instead of stealing 30% of shield, leech now steals 50.
Oh, what?
It says 40. Still
Still
very good. But it's supposed to be 50. But I don't know. Yeah, 40% is still good. So like I don't see playability in terms of sustains for in the Epic era. So your one saving grace as poison players is like your only real threat is single target rage and also AoE. You naturally beat AoE, so that's kind of good. So you just need to worry about like those single target comps. Yeah, I wouldn't rule out poisons actually. Now that I think about it, I think actually
But it
poisons
might not be like the winning comp, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely not. Okay, we can move on to birds. Birds are doing very well, like AoEs in general doing very well. Until today. Today is like struggling. I think, okay, it's not struggling, right? In the grand scheme of things. It's struggling up to top 200, right? Top 200 is still good if you think about it, like the general population. But it's not good for like people like us, right? Like we're striving to reach top 40, top 60, and top 10 in the world, right? So the AoEs are struggling at like the top 200, top 100 range. So because I'm playing AoE and I'm really struggling, but they were doing very well up to today. And to be honest, I do not know why. Honestly speaking, I really do not know why. Like suddenly today everybody chose to play sustains. I don't know, man. Like the amount of sustains I played today is insane. Like suddenly everybody said I want to play sustains. So I don't know like what's happening, like why I'm losing so hard. So yeah, I don't know. On top of that, poisons are now becoming more stronger as well because they're getting a lot of their HP charms. So
True.
yeah, like the birds and the AoEs are really struggling like today. But I think if you get like the AoEs right, you can easily climb to like top 200 very easily, and then you start slowing down around there. Generally, most comps climb very easily up to the top 200. If let's say you get a meta comp, right, it climbs very easily up to top 200, and then that's where you start struggling. I think, yeah, because that's where like you open yourself up to people at top 100, and then you're also still fighting people below you. And then you just get like a bunch of like mix that your comp will generally do very balanced. Like you become very balanced because there's gonna be things that you're bad against and there's gonna be things that you're good against. So yeah.
Yeah, you can like what Gabby is saying, you can be lucky, you can be unlucky, you can face the good stuff and bad stuff in a row. Like if you would actually check Gabby's history, you can immediately understand what we're trying to say, because Gabby would show you like a streak of blue and a big streak of red. So
huge fat streak of red. So yeah,
like for Gabby it's really fat, like I saw it.
Super fat. But yeah. Okay, Dust. So Dust also is like having a very good time now, especially those with Curse Ritual, right? +1 and Endar are playing the Curse Ritual comp. So the Curse Ritual comp is basically the hot butt comp, right? The one that shuffles the burns into your deck and then they will do damage to you, to your front Axie. So what Curse Ritual does is when your turn ends, the closest enemy Axie takes 5 damage per curse cards in your opponent's deck. So if you shuffle a lot of burns into your opponent's deck, they take a lot of damage from Curse Ritual. So that's basically the concept of the comp, right? Playing triple Curse Ritual 3 curse ritual with 3 hot buds and then just out surviving your opponent while shuffling a lot of shit cards into their deck. So that's generally the comp. So yeah, I mean, it's a very good comp. That's, I think, one of the comp. I would say that's the most broken comp this season, TBH.
I would say yes as well, just
I would say
because
it's one of
it's
the more
very like straightforward to
annoying.
play. Like for last season, it's like Swirl and Jinx were like and I mean the Jinx might be the most straightforward team to play because you literally like click damage card. The only thing that you have to figure out is do you go front or do you go back, something like that. And it's kind of the same with like curse ritual. Like basically you just want to stack a lot of like curses. So it's a very straightforward comp.
I wouldn't say it's straightforward. I think it's very nuanced as well, right? There are gonna be its own pros and cons, but I think once you get the comp down, it's like you muscle memory, I think, once you get it down. So I think it's still tough to learn because +1 and Endar took like an entire day to learn the comp as well. It's not super easy, but one thing about the comp is I think it's very hard to build, right? Very hard to build.
Yeah, it's very hard to build.
Yeah.
And that is the challenging part.
Yeah, that's the challenging part about the comp, right? It's very hard to build. Even things like sustains, I think sustains is very hard to build as well in this current era. Super tough to build because there's like a lot of ways to do it and like very few ways are gonna be successful. So yeah. I think we can move on to the last two, which is there's Dawn's neutrals and mechs, right? Dawn, I don't know, Dawn's trash. Nothing good about Dawn, right? Arcane protection hasn't changed for the last 3 seasons, right?
Yeah. Basically the divine ring is like the way of card, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically because the way of way of bees, way of aquas, way of plant, they basically just you get something like either a bubble, either a leaf, or like either a purify, right? And a percentage bonus. So that's the idea of how they made the rare runes in every class. So depending on what bonus you want to get, or like one, yeah, something like that, and then that's to where you're building. But the arcane protection is kind of MIA this era. It's very hard to utilize.
Wait. What happened to spam stream? Never mind. Anyways, sorry, I was distracted. Okay, so what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just said that the divine ring is basically just the other way of class cards, and that would be the same with trap nullifier. So maybe we can discuss what purify and detect does. I'm not sure if people know it.
So purify, I only know what purify because I don't know what purge.
Because you played it.
Because I played it, right?
Yeah.
So purify is you remove 1 curse card from your deck and then you cleanse your Axie 1 time. I mean, we can read what purge does, right? Purge is a targetable cards on purify is yourself, right? Your own teammates. Purge is you use the card on your opponent, right? Deal 10 damage and dispel the target. So dispel, it's not bad. You remove.
So basically, like purify is like a Biden's and purge is like an Oranda.
Yes.
Compared to the other cards.
Yeah. And detect is basically like Arco, I guess. You remove a secret. So the one thing good about these 3 cards is they are retained. So it's a free retain. It doesn't shuffle into your deck if you don't want it to, right? So it's just a retain. So that's kind of good, right? And it's not banished, so it means you can use it over and over again. So it's really nice to use it. Like let's say for example Purify, right? Purify is a very good card to be used against poisons. Doesn't really help though. Doesn't really help.
Yeah, Feather is a buff.
So, what?
Bibs was asking if Feather is a buff. It's
Yeah,
a buff.
feather is a buff. Feather is a buff. So let's say like you have purge, right? You can use purge on a bird with feathers, and then like you remove his feathers. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
those are like the 3 cards.
Purge
I
is
think
also like a very good card right now. When you're playing against like the Silence Whispers. Because it's a retain card, meaning you can just like wait until like the blood moon like try like, because what people are trying to do is that they use Silence Whisper so that they can save themselves from poison killing them in the last blood moons, like turn 23 or like turn 24. But with Purge, it's actually a clutch card to counter that scenario.
I think these cards are very underrated because I think a lot of people don't really. Okay, I wouldn't say underrated, right? It's because it's other than having that, like having a 10% bonus is very meh. I feel. I think the bonus card doesn't do enough that you can justify using a rune that only gives you 10% bonus as compared to something like, for example, Way of Bird, Way of Beast, Way of Aqua, right? It gives you
It's because
15%.
you don't feel it immediately. That's why it's kind of underwhelming. Also to add to that, those cards, the Purge, the Purify, and the Bubble thing, are cards that are actually part of your deck already, meaning it cycles through your deck. Like let's say you use it in your first deck cycle, you can draw it again in the second deck cycle, and you can use it for your zero energy. So it could come like handy as well in some of your games.
For the neutral rune, is there anything very like significantly good?
The only like neutral rune that I see right now is actually Pure Power.
Pure power, right? And it's the same as like last season, right? You give allies the 10% bonus. Nothing changed here. I think what's interesting is this season is the neutral charms, right?
Yeah.
They added things, the Black Sage, the Lens of Revelation, Revelation, and Beam's Blessing, right? Those cards are pretty good, especially Black Sage. I think Black Sage, like, dude, this is so good because if you put Black Sage on like your chomps, for example, it's basically an Orenda. So good. Yeah. So
that's why there's a lot of like poison players using Black Sage right now, and even on a poison mirror, it's very good because if your opponent has Silence Whisper, you can use Black Sage to actually counter that.
Yeah.
So it's very handy.
Yeah, it's super good. Not too sure about like Lens of Revelation. I don't think a lot of people are playing it, but a lot of people are playing Bean's Blessing to remove cursed cards, right? I think the curse comms, like the hotbug comms, are playing Bean's Blessing, ironically, because I think they do struggle. Like curse comms struggle against other curse comms, I think. So curse comms do want to play something like a Bean's Blessing to So pretty interesting, those 3 runes. I think the 2 that are like very good is just Black Sage and Bean's Blessing. So pretty interesting.
I mean, even
so,
White
like,
Sage is good because people
White
still use
Sage
it
is
on Cottontail, right?
White Sage will always be good. I think just adding a cleanse. Cleanse is just always gonna be
The Lens of Revelation is the one that is kind of meh.
meh. Yeah.
Very meh.
So basically the sages, White and Black Sage, those are like pretty solid.
And I think even pre-order tag is still a dead card, in my opinion.
Still did.
They need to revive that card.
Yeah. All right. So I think we're coming to the end of the Substack. There's really nothing much to talk about already, right? I think just daily logins, right?
Yeah.
You know, you can use the SLP to buy back.
By the way, we just learned that if you miss a daily login, you can buy back that missed one with 5 SLP.
If you miss claiming it, but you still need to log in. You still need to play the game. But if you miss claiming it, you can spend 5 SLP to get it back. So that's quite cool.
Taught me, so
Bips, yeah. So
yeah, and like as much as we want to discuss the other like cards, especially the mystics, the epics, is really like, I would say it's gonna be like more interesting for us to like talk about it when we actually reach those eras.
Those eras. So
Like
yeah.
as much as like, so like to what we did as well right now, I hope you guys were able to learn something from our experiences like playing this season. I mean this era, like our opinion with what looks very good and what seems underwhelming as well, like in the rare era for those of you who's still like considering on playing, because I think you can still like play if you're aiming to reach like top something, you know, there's still a lot of time.
Okay. So I think we've more or less come to the end of the agenda of today. So yeah. Bibs, you wanna take it away?
All right. So thank you, Sir Disi and Sir Biggabie, for the updates of Season 3 in Axie Infinity Origin. So we are now done for the agenda for tonight, and we will now proceed to the streamer versus viewer, where Sir DC and Sir Zed will play each other for a best of 3 match in a naked format. And if Sir Zed wins, he or she will receive a prize of 50 USD worth of YGG tokens, and Sir DC will have to do a dare. So please, Sir Zed, please drop your in-game name here in the English voice text, or you may add Sir DC, so you can invite each other. All right.
You can add me.
Sir DC just dropped his in-game name, so Sir Zed, you can now add Sir DC, and let's just wait for each other. So while we are waiting for Sir DC and Sir Zed, I would like to invite those viewers who watch in our social media platforms to join our Discord server. That's discord.gg/YGG, and don't forget to like the stream and also subscribe in our Facebook, Twitter. All right. Did you watch the E4E minors last night, Sir DC and Sir Biggabie?
Not everything, but
Yeah.
look at it.
I just watched Sir
Enrico lose.
yeah Enrico.
He made a mistake. He misplayed. He could have won the game that he lost, but he misplayed.
Yeah, he actually tweeted that mistake.
Yeah. He will remember that for life. He will really remember that for life. So yeah. Pain. The worst is to lose like that. That's really the worst way to lose. Like misplaying like that. No cap. It really is the worst way to lose.
Alright, so maybe Sir DC, can you share your screen so you can watch your gameplay and show our viewers how you play. This guy is laughing on a fellow friend who lost a tournament. Sir Bayo.
It's not laughing. It's just I don't know. I understand the pain.
Yeah, it's like that.
We understand the pain, so we know it hurts.
So Sir Zed's already
Really hurts.
Sir Zed's already ready. Alright. So you can just invite him, Sir DC. Alright. Let's go. Oof. A nutcrack comp.
We want to see
YG
the...
Carrot
I
said.
already have the TikTok one though.
Do your best, Sir Zed, so we can see Sir DC dance again.
No,
Another TikTok trend.
no more dancing. No more dancing.
It depends. It depends on Sir Zed's there.
What did DC play?
So Sir Disi is using a triple poison.
Poisons.
And
Guys.
Sir Zed's using a triple nat bomb.
So mean. What's wrong with my poison?
DC will dance no matter what. Do you use that comp, Sir DC, on grinding the leaderboards now?
I'm using bugs because I
Ooh.
got Volt Builder. I am using double bug. And
Alright.
I got HP charms early, so I was able to climb leaderboard fast.
Sheesh. All.
Cattail, please.
How about you, Sir Biggabie? What comp are you using right now?
AOE.
Oof.
Yeah.
AOE.
Really, oof.
Oof.
Really oof.
Let's
Big.
not talk about that. Let's not talk about my MMR.
So every week we're going to have a streamer versus viewer challenge. So who's in here in our English boys? If you like to have a challenge with our YGG streamers or YGG elites, you may contact me and then I will schedule a match with you and our streamers.
Oof.
So for tonight, we have still Sir Biggabie and Sir DC. We don't have any special guests right now. So let's hope that, we can have a new guest such as our new YGG Elite member, Sir Spam and Rice.
Oh, you guys want to see spam?
Yeah,
Oh.
when
This
Sir...
is busy grinding, but we're
Yeah.
gonna try to.
Alright. On the general chat, when Sir Spam and Rice just announced that he already in the YGG Elites, the general chat said that they want Sir Spam and Rice to join in the here in the bootcamp.
Oh, that would be nice, and we're gonna try to help you so that he does the.
Yeah, the dance.
Yeah.
Chomp. DC chomp.
I don't know, man. Doesn't have any on this show.
Fair enough.
I
Yeah.
have a curse card though.
Yeah, that's okay. What does lagging do?
Give one goo.
It gives one go when an opponent uses a skill card.
There we go.
Yep. So Sir Zed's lineup don't have any energy gainer cards such as Nemo or Goldfish. I think to a nutcrack comp you actually need an Axie that has an energy fragment gainer, so the speed of energy gain is reach
Yeah,
early
energy
for
gain is very
energies.
Okay, this DC bullying, bro.
Who's not with the foot?
Sir DC just waiting for the Gila fail.
Oh, it's still hard. The backline is very healthy.
Poison shield?
Jump, poison.
No, cannot. He has cat on.
Oh yeah, I don't want this guy to die in this turn because I'm gonna get so much revenge cards on that.
Yeah. Ooh, Sir Zed. Not Crocs is already stacking with the 110 damage.
Oh my god.
But it's too late.
Oh, don't die, please. Oh my god.
Oh no.
I might lose.
No Gila. Oh
What's
no.
on? Yeah, no, you have to shield actually.
For energy. Just don't die. Please get revenge cards, please. Please. Oh my
Sir
god.
Disi can just skip for 3 turns. Yeah.
Alright. I think I will die. No, 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 no.
You're fine. But I don't know whether you can kill or not.
I don't think I can. I need to get all the 2 damage cards.
You need Chom Gila.
Oh.
I need 2 swords at least. Please. Please.
Shield.
Oh my.
Ah. No.
Thank you. I don't want
GG's. So it's a 1-0 in favor of Sir DZ. So you can now have your second game. Sir Zed can still win this one. So close. YG Carrot said. Ma'am Carrot, can you send here the TikTok dance that you actually prepared so Sir DC can prepare if he loses 2 more in Sir said.
If she loses 2 more.
Sir Bias asking if you can use Animon's comp.
No, BR, I want to win.
So try hard, bro. Look at this.
Wow.
Bro, what do you mean? I'm just playing the same comp.
Try
But
hard.
Sir Biggabie, you actually prepared last week.
No.
Because he lost.
You used a triple beast, I think, with the rage comp.
Wait, triple wing horn.
Yeah, and a Aoki comp. The meta ones.
Alright, I need to kill that pack. It's actually painful.
Sir BIO is requesting if you lose Sir DC, you will give over your AoE comp.
I don't have AoE comp though.
Ooh.
That's the sad part. I don't have a good AoE comp for the current meta. Ow?
Nice. Good start. Sir Zed. Good start.
Fuck, bro. Oh my god. The fragile, bro. What the heck? My gulay. GG?
Kabol?
GG kabod? Oh my gulay. Oh my. Oh my.
Oh my god. This is...
Oh my god, we're gonna get deleted. Please have mercy.
No tail, please. Sir said.
Ow.
Sir Jude's asking on a poison comp, is it okay if a poison comp don't have a silence whisper?
No, I think you need.
Yeah,
Might
I
be
think you
hard.
also need that. Zigzag diff.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Have mercy.
Sheesh.
Alright, as long as it doesn't use not cracks, I have a hope. Uy,
Uy.
the timing.
Oof.
Kill the bag, please. Kill the bag. Kill the bag.
How about you, Sir BIO? Would you like to have a challenge next week on our streamers?
Oh, Beer is a good friend of mine.
Yeah. So you can actually play with Sir DC if you like. And Sir DC will do a dare if you win against him.
Not sure if this one is so.
Ooh, Sir BIO said he wants Sir Biggabie. Yeesh.
Sure.
Hmm.
You think I'm so easy to beat?
Ooh. The dance of Sir Biggabie is actually posted on our YGG socials, so you can guys check it out later.
Bro.
Oh my god. The front is now scary.
To stun the front, no?
Right.
Because you need to do damage to it. Actually, green dawns is nice. No, it's not. It's
No.
trash.
Nice.
Stun the front. More feel liking? Don't know.
Actually, that's bad. Because I lost one card.
No. Sir Big Boy Gabby.
Oh my gulay.
Wow.
Oh, that's 4 energy.
Well, that.
Uy! 8 pesos!
You won, yeah.
No.
Stun the front. Stun the front, heal the front, shield the front.
Uy, no coaching!
Shield the back, shield the back.
This guy coaching.
To help a friend in need, bro.
Uy!
So trash, obviously must help. Wait. JK.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow, so lucky.
So
What do you mean lucky?
Yep, I think it's a GG right here, right there.
GG's.
GG's.
Dead.
Sir DC's just won the match in a 2-0 with Sir Zed. So, any
know that.
tips, Sir DC, for Sir Z on his game style, or do you have any something
It's
to say?
really more of him not having cotton tail in a naked.
Yeah.
matchup. But yeah,
All right.
I hope Zed could do the
The
dance.
dance.
Yeah, YG Carrot asked for. just
How's that, Sir Z? No.
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 just
All
amazing.
right. Thank you, Sir Z, for that wonderful match with Sir DC. So I think that's it for our tonight's stream. Any thing you want to say, Sir DC, Sir Biggabie?
Um, yeah, for me, just want to thank everyone for like hanging out with us like every week. I hope you guys are still learning from us, and I hope we are sharing really good stuff. And even for the next eras, I hope we could still like share our experiences, our insights, and you could get something from that at least, especially for those of you who's like interested in playing for the current era and for the next ones as well.
Yeah, hopefully you are learning something from us, huh?
All right. So thank you, Sir DC, Sir Biggabie, for the insights and knowledge that you shared with us. I'm sure that the viewers learn more about the Axie Infinity origin in Season 3. So that is all. Thank you guys for joining in tonight's bootcamp. See you guys next week.
Yeah.
GG.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.
See you. See you. Cheers. Cheers.